Austin, Texas, go in and see them. Call them at 817-991-0523 or reach them on the web at www.acceleratedgraphics.net. They are loud and proud and want to serve you. Accelerated Graphics.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379 or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Reach Across Johnson County segment on Joco Community Radio. You can join us live here on Facebook or download the TuneIn Radio app. It's free. We are live 365 on Joco Community Radio, the voice of Johnson County, Texas. I'm with my co-host this evening, Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, guys.
So we have a slight dilemma. Our special guest has gotten caught in traffic, so we're going to have to kill a little time until she arrives. I tell you what I can do is I can probably go ahead and read the intro and things like that. So our topic this evening is we're bringing in one of our community partners called ReInspire. ReInspire is one of the newer 501c3 nonprofits serving Johnson County. Their mission is to provide hope, services, and connection to current and former foster youth, as well as other vulnerable youth and young adults. ReInspire seeks to help clients achieve success and long-term stability as adults, a future all youth want and deserve. And so our special guest is going to be Charise Olson. She is the founder and executive director of ReInspire. And as a former foster parent and with over 25 years of professional experience in community and social services, Charise is especially committed to ReInspire's mission. She is a graduate of BHS, Go Elks, and started her career in Burleson. She also lived in California and was a missionary in Costa Rica. Charise is happy to be back at home in Texas. So we'll give her a few more minutes. Hopefully she's
I didn't know that Charise was a former foster parent. That's
I didn't
neat.
either.
I can't wait to ask her a little bit about that, how she, created her mission from that on helping youth.
I tell you, I have, strong regard for people that bring in foster kids. We actually, one of the ladies that I work with on our Crime Stoppers program, she actually fosters kids, and she has a lot of the little ones, like under 2, and she's actually adopted 2 of hers, and she just amazes me, her and her husband, the stuff that they do and how much they care for these kids. I just, I would have a hard time, I think, turning loose of someone once they've been in my home.
Especially this time of year.
Oh,
Can
gosh,
you imagine
yes.
having to have a child in your home for months and then Christmas time, maybe they're going home, getting reunified, which is the end goal, but it would still be pretty tough.
Yeah, it would be tough. When my daughter was in junior high, she, one of her best friends, her family was having some issues, and she ended up moving in with us for a little while. And is she here?
Yes.
Okay,
Do you want
good
me
deal.
to hear off?
Anyhow, when she came to visit, she ended up staying, and she was with us for about 3 years. And so I know that I still consider her one of my kids. Sorry. Yeah, Charise, how are you? Come on in, have a seat. We just went ahead. We were killing a little bit of time. We went ahead and did the intro. We'll get you set up here. You can grab that headset.
I'll turn your mic on whenever you get your stuff situated. Burleson traffic, you guys know how it is.
Oh, was there really?
Yeah, I budgeted for traffic, but not
Not for an accident.
not for the lane being
Okay,
closed.
I think.
Okay.
Can you hear us in your?
Mhm.
All
Okay.
right.
And you'll just want to pull your mic as close as possible,
Okay.
and that way we'll be able to hear you and everything. Well, welcome, Charise. We appreciate you joining us this
Thank you.
evening.
Thank
Don't you
you.
love live radio?
Keeps you on your toes.
It does. Well, and we're
So.
pretty relaxed, and it's kind of like having a conversation in our living room type
Mhm.
deal. So
Well, thank you for
good.
just running in here and getting on live. So we went ahead and just to kill time, we read about ReInspire and about you. So go Elks. That's exciting that you are a former graduate of VHS. Do you want to kind of go over how you started ReInspire?
Sure. So I started in fall of 2017, and then we kind of launched services in 2018, and it really came out of the work I was doing with foster teens. I had been hired by a school district to implement a grant for a jobs program, and I had been a foster parent, and then actually had my own life experience as not being able to live at home all the time. So when I started working with teens and saw the cliff that you drop off of at 18, it was just shocking. Like, I mean, I've worked in social services a long time. You see a lot of hard things and terrible things, and that shouldn't be okay. This is not okay,
Right.
what was happening with our foster teens. And so when I had the opportunity that I could do something about it, that's where ReInspire came from. And without bringing too much religion into it, it was kind of a Holy Spirit moment. And then I started doing research, and Johnson County really didn't have any services like that. And then I met with some local people and to figure out exactly what do we need here. So
you help former foster youth and I guess homeless children or all youth. Kind of tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So how we kind of use foster youth as a shorthand because that's really a legal status. Are you legally a ward of the court? And we're not concerned with the legal status. So it's more about the youth's life experience. That do they have the support they need to get where they want to be as adults? So when they turn 18 or they are 18, whatever, their situation is, then do they have the adults they need? Or maybe they just need more adults. They could have adults. They just need kind of some extra support in a certain area. So that's who we serve. So typically that is current or former foster youth, homeless youth, couch surfing youth, juvenile justice involved youth. So, and we start services as early as 12 because we really want to try to get ahead of that cliff, right? And but typically and then we go up to age 23. Our sweet spot seems to be 16 to 21.
Okay.
Seems to be kind of the bulk.
How do I guess families or youth? How do they find out about you? How do you spread your word? Like this is one way, but
right, yeah, I come on the radio. So we don't have like a formal referral process, so it's just kind of however you find me. So, but most of our referrals come from some families find us directly or like through the schools.
Okay.
And then especially my McKinney-Vento involved kids, because those are the kids that are typically in foster care.
My small group at church, I'm doing BSF at Pathway, and one of the women in my small group she's been a leader with CASA for many years, and her main focus is teenagers. So I can't wait to give her some of your information. I'm going to do that.
Linda?
No, it is. Oh my gosh, why did her name just go short? Say another name.
That's
She's been around for.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just know that Linda Nolan is big. She's very involved in foster youth community and was involved with CASA for a
So
long time.
Tiffany is saying Charise needs to connect with Godly Grind Coffee Company, a nonprofit that helps teens who age out of the foster system. 27,000 teens age out per year. Only 3,000 go on, or 3% go on to higher education. Thank you for
Wow.
that fact, Tiffany.
Really?
Yeah. So, and actually, Patty and I do know each other out at Godly Grind. She's doing a lot of good stuff out there, and I worked with some of her youth. So, but yeah, so I do know Patty. So that's, but yeah, Patty Rooks was involved in adoption for a long time, retired to then sort of retired to then start this coffee house. And now they do dinner and they have,
That is so cool.
it's really amazing. And they have youth employees that
She
they hire.
adopted 20 kids, Tiffany says. Wow. We need to
Wow.
have her on our show.
Really,
That's amazing.
She's a
Yeah.
powerhouse.
And
so.
I love that about the coffee company. That's neat. Okay. What else?
Well,
we
I
need to-
wanted to
and
just
then just
go ahead.
real quick on
Uh-huh.
follow up how families find me. So so schools and other agencies that they're involved with where so like juvenile justice will reach out or something. But
Okay.
also what's happening now is the kids refer their friends.
Oh, that's
So
good.
the kids, like, hey, you need to call this lady because she helped me get a job or she helped me get my driver's license.
Yeah. So let's
So-
talk more about what all ReInspire does.
Yeah, that's the hardest question for me to answer because so I quote a volunteer all the time. Rhonda, if you're listening, this is you. That we do what needs doing. So if they come in and they need their driver's license, we work on that. I had one kid, he didn't know where he'd been born and we needed the
Aw.
birth certificate. So we did a lot of like research to find out where he'd been born so we could get his birth certificate so then he could get all his documents to get a job.
Now, you said it's not just foster kids. So you deal with some family, the families, I guess, youth of families that may just be struggling or.
Yeah, most of our kids are probably not living with their parents.
Okay.
But why that is could be, all different things. And some are living with their parents, but there's been a lot of stress in that relationship. So, or the
Right.
parent is just completely overwhelmed and needs some extra support. The criteria for services is ability to benefit. So basically, we have to see that we can offer the kid something they haven't been offered before,
Okay.
and that they would actually want it and want to
Right.
engage, because we're not court mandated or, anything like that. So it's not, we don't have to work with them and they don't have to work with us.
Okay.
And I just started this analogy I said, it's kind of like how you get a real estate agent to help you find a house. And, you get to pick who you want to work with,
Right.
and they can't make you get a house you don't want. And, they're just there to guide you and make it go smooth and hopefully get a fair deal. And we're kind of like that agent for adulthood. And so we just want to, I don't have authority to make them do anything they don't want to do, but
What's the percentage that you see that when kids get started with you actually follow through and do the things that are kind of required or take the initiative?
it's pretty high because they have to come in wanting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
great.
we're not like making them. It's like I'm coming alongside. I'm kind of the grown up because they'll say, well, I went in there, but she wouldn't talk to me, or I called and they didn't help me. And it's like, okay, I will call.
Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
and sometimes there's just people who, when they're talking to a 17-year-old, are going to talk differently than they would to me.
Mhm.
And
Yes,
so,
unfortunately, that's true.
Yeah. And then we can solve problems like if they don't have an address, so they can't get their ID. I have an address they can use, and we have an arrangement with DPS. So, we have some workarounds for things that they might be running into. But I've only had, so in over 4 years of service, I've only had one kid that I had to discontinue services with. So they, in terms of like failure, and he was actively using meth.
Oh,
And
geez.
so he just wasn't ready. That's
Mhm.
usually what we like to say is they just weren't ready.
Yeah.
And we did connect him with other services, but
I was going to
unfortunately,
say, do y'all refer kids that are struggling with substance abuse?
yeah, I definitely don't ever want to be like, sorry, see ya. And even if they don't, like I had another family and the young woman was in a 2-parent household with like no apparent, I mean, they had issues, but again, we weren't offering anything she hadn't already been offered. So I really didn't see that we could do a lot. And just everything, she had so much stability and support already. But I did still connect them with some other services because there were some things going on that I was like, I think this might be helpful.
That's
So,
good.
so we do that. And then for this young man, we were able to connect him with some other services that he qualified for, but he just wasn't ready for what we offer.
How many kids are y'all currently serving right now?
So I have, I just got 5 new ones. So I think we're up to, I do it by year. So for 2021, we're looking at 75.
Wow, that's
So,
amazing.
But
It
what
is.
happens, I mean, thank you. It is. No, but what
Yeah.
happens is they come in very intense, because there's usually a lot happening. And then, okay, now you have a place to live and now you have a job or you've got a tutor or whatever. And so then we can, they're still working with us, but it's not like as many hours,
Okay.
So the number is, they're still our client. We're still engaged in doing stuff, but it's not necessarily like, because we don't have anything where it's like you have to meet with us every week or you have to do this many hours or finish that many classes. So it's a little different in, what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
but-
interesting. When, as far as like, are you helping with housing and stuff like that? Do you have another community partner that helps with you that, or?
So our dream is housing. It has been from, negative,
Yeah.
negative 0 day. But we have not gotten there yet. So I do troubleshoot on housing and try to solve that, but I don't have like, oh, I've got this place right over here that you can rent. So our dream is, and we've got some key partners that are wanting to help us build a building. We just need to
that
find
sounds
the location.
I worked for ACH Child and Family Services for several years, and whenever I was there, we had the Masonic Lodge in Fort Worth donated, and then we had a female housing and which they've got incredible donors and that, but
yeah, they've been around a long time.
they've been around for over 100 years. It was kind of neat, but so they've tried to.
They also have a huge state contract, and we don't,
Yes.
we don't receive any public financing funding like that. So, but yeah, no, ACH is great, and I do consider them a partner, and we've received referrals from them. And stuff.
How do y'all get your funding for your projects?
Fundraising,
Really,
grants, donations, events. So, but yeah, we do have a contract with Johnson County to provide a life skills class, but that's like a fee for service. That's not, they're supporting ReInspire. They're paying for us to do a certain service for them. So, but in terms of, where all the revenue is from. So, but yeah, so housing is a huge need, huge. I cannot, and it's not just for us, but for young people who have just turned 18. There's so many that just need a safe, stable place to be, while they're doing everything else. And these poor kids, they'll come and I just need a job. It's like, what address are you going to put on your job application?
Where are these kids staying?
So one of our first clients was living in a tool shed behind a church here in Burleson. Another was in the where that chessboard is by the library. He was sleeping over there by the public library. There's bushes behind the Starbucks in Cleburne where they'll stay. A lot of them are very resourceful, which is so great. I mean, that's why I say it's coming alongside them, because their survival skills are so strong. So, we're really good at like, so who do you know and what can we work out? And so they're, sleeping on somebody's couch, or somebody's was renting kind of like a corner in a garage. Like, they're we have other clients who are renting rooms and houses. So we're definitely looking for, we have a program called Launch Pads, and what we're looking for is people that have maybe an in-lawn suite or even a camping trailer kind of hooked up, to electricity and stuff, that where our kids could rent for cheap and then have our support. They wouldn't just be living there, and we need them in all different locations because we have kids who already have jobs or they're in school. They just need that safe, stable place, and you have kids that are staying in drug houses, and it's like they don't need to be there,
Right.
and so housing is a huge issue.
And it's scary when you think about it. And now we're starting to get into the cooler weather and things like that. And it's heartbreaking to think of somebody that's having to, sleep out of doors.
Are there any shelters in Johnson County?
No, there's not a homeless shelter, and there is a youth shelter that ACH runs, but that's in Arlington, and most of the kids don't want to go. The Presbyterian night shelter will take adult, like 18-year-olds, but that's also not necessarily a safe place to go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, so one of the stories we have is a young woman who was in Cleburne, connected with a teacher of hers in high school, had graduated high school, had a job, was going to church. So she had the support system, right?
Right.
Job, people, church, no housing. So, and we just tried everything and could not solve that, but we were able to reconnect her with services that she did qualify for because she had aged out of foster care. And so, but the only housing they had was in Dallas. So we solved the housing problem. She moved to Dallas, lost her job. Her former teacher's not going to drive to Dallas. No church in Dallas. There's churches, but not her church.
Not her community or her connection.
And when you're from here, like, you want to be here. And I think it's really hard to tell kids, like, you need to be an adult. You need to figure out your life. You need to pull your act together. But we're going to tell you where you have to live and when you have to go there and how it's going to be. So it's really this mixed
don't have
message.
any control.
Yeah. And, I don't want to live in Arlington.
Right.
Not because it's a bad place, just that's not where I choose to live. And so when we're trying to make these kids be adults, it would be wonderful to be able to say, okay, we have a program in Burleson, or we have a program in Cleburne, or things like that. So,
Well, if let's just say for some reason we have a listener that this kind of touches on and everything, how if they had, like you said, maybe a garage apartment or
Right.
a trailer, or something that they would be willing to rent out or something
Right.
like that. What's the best way for somebody to make contact with you on something like that?
So email or call me. Should I say?
Yeah,
number out?
yeah. If
So-
you're good with that, and then she
Yeah.
can type it in.
Yeah. So my phone number is 817-405-9178.
I'll say I can type.
9178.
Okay, say that one more time.
817-405-9178. And that actually just happened, where I was doing a presentation and someone called me after, and they own a trailer park and have a trailer that they want to, offer to our clients. And so I just met with her today to talk about what that would look like and how we could work it and making it reasonable. Unfortunately, it's pretty far out of town. So if I don't have clients who have cars, it's going to be really challenging. But
does that tend to be the thing? Is most of these kids don't have transportation? Or?
Transportation is a serious obstacle, but I teach a lot of kids to drive. And so we're doing a lot of driving and then, trying to help them save to get a car. And we did have a client this year, and it was just like a great success story because she came in, she hadn't had a job in 2 years, didn't have a driver's license in her early 20s. And then, so we started working on driving, job hunt. We had an employer that always said, hey, if you have anybody you think you'd be good, let me know. So we worked that. So she's employed full-time, got her driver's license. And then because she had been saving from her job, she was able to buy a car. So she's just like doing amazing. And
That's awesome.
she's actually looking to start her own business now. So
oh wow,
she's really great. So Yeah, so transportation, that's why we're mobile. That's why we don't have an office space, because kids can't get to us.
Yeah.
So we just go. So I meet in the libraries a lot, or fast food, because then we can feed get them
Right.
food, and churches, and church has been really generous. So,
And you have contact information on your website as well.
We are ReInspire, is
Yes.
.org.
We are. Okay. That's added up there. Tiffany put that in.
Yeah. So that's so that's our website, and talks about all of our programs and everything.
Let's see. What do people need to do if say there's a teen listening, or someone that knows a teen?
Right.
They just go to your website?
No, call me. I mean, if you, the best, certainly look at the website to get more information. But as far as like you want to connect to, because you have land or an apartment, or actually if you have some turkeys, because we're doing Thanksgiving dinner next week.
Nice.
Or you want to volunteer, or you have a youth or you are a youth that you think you'd like to get some support. Yeah, the best way is to call. And our phone number actually goes to my cell phone, so you can text too. So,
Okay.
For those that don't like to talk on the phone, and email. So yeah, I kind of take referrals however they find me. But I love when a client has referred
Yes,
their
it is.
friend, because that's really a high compliment.
That
And
is a-
teenagers don't get compliments very
Yeah.
easily. So,
That's the truth.
if they're like, oh, so-and-so told me a call. So
Yeah, that bodes well and speaks well of your agency for when kids do that. So
well,
that's
we
awesome.
tend to make it really practical. So, they're getting something they want, and that's what they see is, I want my driver's license. Okay, that's what we start on. So I don't like tell them, oh, well, before we do the driver's license, you have to take this 5-week class. Now, while we're practicing driving, I'm like, so how's the job search going? And have you thought about college?
That's awesome.
So we can start,
They say the best place to talk to teens is in the car whenever you're, because it's, they
got their
can't go
attention.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Other than AirPods or something, but
I just have to be careful how good a driver they are, so we don't distract them.
That's true.
So, because they're in my car, so I gotta. Yeah,
I think we're about to go now.
Yeah, we've got about 30 seconds. It's longer than we think it is sometimes, but I know that we've got a lot more questions that we want to get with you when we come back from our break and everything. And so we ask everybody to stay tuned, come in and learn a little bit more about ReInspire and maybe what you can do maybe to help contribute.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Welcome back to the second half of the show here on Joco Community Radio, where we are the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, simply go to tuneinjoco.com, where you can download the free app or listen live right there. We also stream simultaneously on Spreaker.com with select shows like this one streaming to Facebook. All of our shows can also be found on any one of your favorite podcast platforms, such as Spotify and iTunes. Check out our lineup on jococommunityradio.com. Thanks for tuning in. This episode and more is brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. All right. So welcome back, Charise. We've got Charise Olson from ReInspire that is joining us, and we've kind of been talking about her program and what it's all about. And so if you're just tuning in, let's just kind of go over again what all ReInspire does.
Okay, so our mission is Hope Services Connection, and we work with teenagers and young adults to help them make their goals for successful and stable adulthood come true. And it's what all youth want, and they just may not know exactly how to get there. So that's what we're about. And we typically work with current and former foster youth, homeless youth, justice involved youth.
That's awesome. I know that we talked briefly during the break that you have some specific programs and everything. Let's
Right.
kind of touch on that a little bit on what specific programs that you're able to offer.
Okay. Thanks. So it kind of right now breaks into three things. So we have CORE, which is our life skills program, and that's typically the kind of, I would say 15. It's not like this hard, is your birthday before this date or after
Yeah.
that date, but it's typically for younger, just a little bit younger,
Okay.
where it's more cooking and money management and general life skills. Then for like say 16 and up, that's Pathfinder, which is more career focused. So
Okay.
we're focused more on connecting them with a mentor within their field of interest. So, if I have, I have somebody that wanted to have her own bakery. So we were able to connect her with someone who has her own bakery,
Oh,
because
cool.
that's, and then we actually also connected with her with entrepreneurs, because that's just,
So you
different
can kind of get with the community and find different, I guess, mentors for the youth.
Right. Yeah. So we have mentoring, and that really happens within the umbrella of Pathfinder. And that's a big way our volunteers are involved with us. But it's a little different than most mentoring agencies that have mentors, because we really are focused on the career angle. Or what's happening right now, I've seemed to have some young moms. So then, having someone who's got young children, that would be a great mentor, because, all of us have been moms. It's so nice
Yes.
when you've got somebody else that's
Yes.
maybe their kid's a little bit older. Did your kid do this? When did they get their first tooth? And that happened too long ago for my kids. I can't remember all that stuff.
I know.
So, but then, so CORE and then Pathfinder. And then the other kind of big branch is just the individual supports, where, like the driving is one-on-one, or someone who's, really got a specific struggle. Then we're going to be working on those individually. We are excited about, we're launching early next year. I kept saying January, but January feels really close right now.
It does.
So,
Tiffany did a countdown earlier. It's 38 days till Christmas.
Oh,
I'm like, oh my
okay,
gosh.
yeah. So only 42 till January. So,
Oh, wow.
so maybe February, but we are going to be establishing a center in Cleburne to start with. We'll have GED coaching and probably like the Mommy and Me class or, something like that. And so it'll be a little bit of a hub where we can base some more programs out of.
What do the holidays look like for your youth? So you said
They-
Thanksgiving's coming up. What is
Yeah.
that?
Well, so 2 years ago, we had a number of youth who had nowhere to go. So I did a Thanksgiving Day dinner, like everybody does.
Yes.
And it was a big hit with our kids. So we are doing, and then of course last year we couldn't do it, like everything we couldn't do.
Yes.
But we're doing it this year. So Thanksgiving Day, we will be having a sit down lunch at a location to be revealed. All we need you to do is text us, because that's how we will know how much turkey to fix, is when you text and ask us for the address. And this is for youth who don't have family or friends to go hang out with. We're also saying it's for youth who might need a breather from family.
Okay.
And then I had some adults ask me if they could come if they need a breather from family. And I was like, no, just for the kids. But because we have that too, where, they do have family to go to, but maybe not all day.
Is it just you, or do you have other staff that help with the kids?
We don't have staff, like regular full-time staff. I do have some people on contract basis, and then we have a lot of volunteers. And then our board is a working board, so they're very involved.
That's good.
And they actually have stuff to do, not just vote on stuff. So though they do that too, but so we it's not always just me, but as far as like official staff, right now it's just me.
I just didn't know like what Thanksgiving, if it's just you or if you've got like a team that's going to be helping. How
Actually,
many kids do you think you're going to have?
I think we'll be like 10, 15, because they have to be able to get to the location in Cleburne. It's in Cleburne. And then, but I have some that are planning to come early to help me cook. So it won't be just me. And Thanksgiving, the food is not hard. I mean, traditional food is not hard to cook. It's just a lot of it. So, you have people helping. And then the turkey, it's pretty straightforward. I wish I could smoke a turkey. If anyone wants to donate a smoked turkey, that's my favorite, but I don't know how to do that. So
me either.
That was a funny story. I just had a kid ask me about, he wants to be a grill master. He doesn't have anybody to teach him how to run a grill. And he showed me all these things like bacon wrap poppers and all that. I was like, yeah, we definitely have to find someone else, because I can like grill hamburgers and hot dogs. So, so those are the kind of mentors that we can connect them with. So it's not always just career. But, if we had somebody.
So if there's a grill master listening right now.
Or a restaurant, that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, he wants to be like, in the backyard kind of thing.
Backyard grill. Okay. So.
But that's kind of how our mentoring works, is we really try to connect them on where they're, what they're interested in. It makes it easier for the mentors.
Yes.
Because you know what to talk about, right? And then it's like, oh, I know, I'm actually an expert in that. I know how to do that. And then it's also helps the kid get a reference, because that's what we're looking at. Yes. As
tell me about Christmas with the youth.
So we are actually right now in our gift card campaign, and we collect gift cards. We like them in increments of about $10, $20 max. And then we make, I talk with my hands, I'm like knocking stuff around. And then we make up like cute little packages, and I found some cute little stuffed reindeer, kind of like that, but a reindeer I think we're going to use. And we give the kids those gifts. It's interesting that Thanksgiving seems to be the hard one, that they don't have a place to go. Christmas, there seems to be more options. And we just haven't, but giving them a gift has been some very emotional times, to find out that like that was the only gift they got. And I mean, we're not giving them, hundreds of dollars of gift cards. It's because we're trying to keep it, normal. It's supposed to be like normal life. And it's been really touching.
The angel trees, I always notice it's the little kids that get taken first.
Yes.
And then you walk up and it's the teenagers that are left. And it's just like, gosh, they probably need it more than anybody.
Yeah. So, and sometimes it's hard because teenagers ask for really expensive things.
Yes.
But that's not really, I mean, that's not real life unless that's within your family.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, my kid would want, I have an 11-year-old at home still, and, you know, he would want a PS5. That's not our family's budget. So that's a nice wish to have, but, you
Yes.
know, that's not going to happen. So for our kids, you know, we do focus on the practical. So the gift cards, I mean, we like to put in, if we get donations of Chili's or, you know, something fun, movie theaters
theater.
and stuff.
Mhm.
Those are great, but we also, you know, CVS and Walmart because they can
Mhm.
get, or HEB
Well, I mean,
because you can get
teenagers like
groceries.
to go get shampoo and conditioner and
Yeah.
stuff too. I mean, my
Right.
daughter.
Well, and they need that stuff,
Mhm.
you know, because most of our kids are going to be in situations where it's, you know, needs. And I mean, I'm sure we've all been there at some point where, like, Christmas where you get what you want and you wish is lovely. But there's also those Christmases like, okay, I need these
Yeah.
things. So,
Mhm.
you know, getting, I know one year we had a guy had just gotten a car, so we gave him gas cards and he was just over the
that'd be
moon, you know.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
gas cards are really great. And then if we get too many, which is a nice problem to have, we're able to use those all year. So, you know, when they graduate or
Birthdays.
birthdays and or incentives like, hey, if you you know, if you can get this all done in the next 2 weeks, I can, you know, give you a gift card. So
Oh, that's
so
neat.
the gift cards are a huge help for us. And we would so that's with Christmas. They're usually, you know, in terms of finding a place to go or visit, well, they seem to be doing okay, but not having someone who genuinely thought of them
Yeah.
in a sweet way,
Mhm.
I think is, you know, so that's what we really try to do with the gift cards.
So, do you work any with their parents and their relationships with the kids, or is it mostly kids that don't have those relationships?
Yeah, most of our kids don't have those relationships, and or they're very strained and challenging. And so again, everything is about being a grown up and how the real world works. So if I can support healing or reconciliation, I will definitely do that. Mostly how that looks for me or us is talking about when when successful, stable adults have emotional things getting in their way and causing pain and distress, we typically go for counseling. You know, whether that's with a church or professional. And so that's kind of how I encourage it. Because a lot of, especially if they've been in the system, they've been mandated to go to counseling. So a lot of our kids will be very close to that. And so what I tell them is like, so I actually just had this conversation last week and I said, you're 17. I understand the door's closed on counseling, but you're only 17. No door should be locked at this point.
Right.
So I understand it's closed. Don't lock it. As you get older, that seems to be a problem. Then you need to work on it. And we have some great parents, so I don't want to make it, especially if they're listening, I would hate for anyone like, oh my gosh, she's making us all sound like we're terrible. The majority of our kids have parents that I would not encourage reconciliation with, is the harsh truth.
That's tough.
That is very
I
tough.
mean, when I have a client who has $40 in her bank account and she gives her birth mother 35 of it, and the only reason she didn't give her 40 is because the bank wouldn't let her, drain her bank account, and it was for drugs. It was, that's not someone I'm really promoting.
What kind of coping services do the kids get to learn? Like, do y'all provide to help them with hard things like that?
Yeah, so we definitely work on boundaries and just kind of role playing how to say no to some of those things. So and then we do have some social emotional curriculum we like to bring in, but that is pretty far down the road because you have to have a high trust level to
yeah.
work on those, touchy
Mhm.
things. So so usually I'm dealing much more with the practical, like, okay, well, next time she asks, just don't text back until the next day, because then you've had time to process. It's not that emotional, thing.
Right.
Or put your phone on silent and turn it over so you don't see it light up. Like, so it's very, practical boundary setting like that. And we do a lot of like, well, if my boss asks, how come how come I was only at these jobs for a couple months? It's like, okay, this is what you say. And, we don't put that on the resume, and don't tell them you were in foster care until you've known them for a while. And so just, kind of strategies. And then when we can start getting into the more nitty gritty of like coping and anger management and stuff, we have some of that, but we also like to refer that out to community partners where that's more their specialty, because the connection part of our mission is really helping them build their support network. I have a double-edged feeling about when kids say like, they did everything, I got this job, I got into college, I did this, and they don't think that I did very much. Part of that, I have an ego, so I'm like, I helped a little, but I love it, because that means, they feel they did it themselves and they figured those things out. And I've had now, because I've been doing it for 4 years here, it's really great, because you'll have like, from where we started, and like they would call me for everything, and it's like, I'm supposed to call them on the phone, you call them, and just those
Do they
kind of
call
things.
you in the middle of the night and stuff?
Yeah, actually, my day started early this morning with a 4:30 text and then I had a client who got kicked out of his friend's house. His friend dropped him off at a hotel because he was going to get a hotel room over there off of the frontage road and 35, but he was under 18. You can't get a hotel room if you're under 18. So he didn't know that. So he called me at 11:30 at night, and we were trying to connect with resources, and it was just like, it's just getting later and later. And he's like literally standing outside. So it's like, I'm just coming to get you. And so, we figured that out. But yeah, we definitely get calls at all hours, but we really try to meet them where they're at, and then get them what they need and want. And then as I see things, I tell them all the time, I can't make you do anything, but I'm very direct. And you're definitely going to hear my recommendations and my opinions. And so, if I think that they're really messing up, I'm going to say,
Has
let's take a
anyone
breath.
ever wrecked your cars?
Okay. So, up until a few weeks ago, I would have said no. And then we had a young man. Well, it's even better than that. Okay. So we start in a parking lot, probably like all of us when you first start driving. And, so we're in the parking lot, and we're going to practice parking, just pull in parking. And he got the pedals confused. So I was like, okay, put on the brake, and
Hit the accelerator
and he
instead.
hit the accelerator. And so we went up on the curb, and I have a low car. So,
you do it in your car?
yeah. Oh yeah. I know it's my car. That's why I tell him, I'm like, I'm not joking
God.
around. Like, this is my car. So, and I only have one car. So we're starting in the parking lot because I want you to feel safe, and I want to feel safe, and I want to know my car is safe.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so we went up on the curb, and I was like, okay. So that's the first time I've had something like that happen. Another time I did have to grab the wheel. But for whatever reason, I did not get, just even with my own kids, teaching them to drive, I don't freak out.
Oh, I'm the worst.
I don't like,
I know.
I mean, I hit my imaginary brake on the passenger side, and I would like one of those cars, like the driver's ed car that had that brake. But,
Absolutely.
but I don't get, really freaked out. But I mean, we definitely go in baby steps. There's a lot of laps in the parking lot. Now, the funny part of that is I was in a car wreck. And so I had to tell all the kids I was teaching to drive, like, it's going to be a bit because I have to get my car fixed. And thankful I didn't tell them all like why. So I was
How
glad
does-
because I didn't want to be like, yeah, your driving teacher was in a car accident.
So how does that look like? Like what system? I mean, to help them get their license. Like my daughter, we've done ACEable and now she's doing Burleson driving school. What does that look like through you?
So what we say is I call it driving practice.
Okay.
So they still have to do
Like
whatever official.
I didn't know if you were like
thing.
accredited in that.
Yeah,
you could-
no.
Okay. So
yeah.
you're just kind of
I'm
helping
just
them get
driving practice. And what we like to do is so like the driving in the car, the behind the wheel driving that they can get through driving school. Usually there's like a few hours. I think it's 3 hours that the driving school will do.
15 or 30. I don't.
Oh, typically our kids doing this are older, so it's not as many.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so with us, we use that as like, okay, they're going to tell you what to work on, and then you and I will go work on it. But it's just to get more and more practice, and then they can use my car for the test. So that gives, because that's another obstacle is I'm ready to take it, but I don't have a car I can use. I don't have a car that would pass inspection. So they can use my car for the test. So my car has passed a lot of driving tests.
Maybe we need to lend that to Kendall because she's like on 100 hours and I still don't think she'd pass her test.
So,
It seems one of the things I've noticed now, versus when I was learning to drive and stuff like that, it seems like kids are waiting longer to get their driver's license.
Kendall she says she can Uber everywhere. She could care less.
There's a lot of options. Yeah. I was like that. I was not super anxious. My parents actually were like, you're going today.
Oh, that's me.
But they had,
that to Kendall. Yeah.
But it's so nice when my daughter got her driver's license, it was heaven. Like, oh, can you stop and pick this up for me? And then I've had kids who are really good drivers, so I'm like, okay, let's just go. Can we go all over? And they're just driving me around, and they're totally ready. We're just waiting for the
you
test.
Probably meet some really good kids.
So, because they're not mandated to work with me. I mean, that's really they see that like this is what I've been waiting for,
right?
And so that's where to me they're all good, and even the ones that aren't ready, that's disappointing and hard, but it's not because they're necessarily bad.
Is Reach's YRC program, is it mandated by court?
No.
So we're kind of like ReInspire when it comes to what's the difference between YRC and?
I think it's really rather similar.
There's some similarities. I think for me and hearing about y'all, I saw if just if someone came in and substance abuse was really kind of at the top of the list, I would want to refer them to you because that's not our field of expertise.
That's what I was thinking. Is there's kids that maybe that are needing Charise's assistance that we, that might not need. So yeah, it's great to have.
And then vice versa, right? Where they need y'all and not me. And then what I really, we partner with a lot of other agencies, like Johnson County Family Crisis Center. It's like, they're doing a lot for, clients over there, but then there's some things that I can do that they can't do. And, kids in school, they're getting a lot of support at the high school, their high school, but there's things we can work on outside of school. And so it's,
do you have a connection with the counselors at the schools? And stuff? That's great.
It's Pat McCall's the CASA worker. She's been around forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Pat and I have we have some people in common.
Okay.
Yeah. If you tell her about Shari, she'll probably like, oh yeah, I remember that day. No, but we know each other.
Okay.
Well, I know we're getting into the last little bit, so let's make sure that we cover everything that you want to cover. What are some of the upcoming events that you've got going on?
So Thanksgiving Day, that will be in Cleburne, and but if that applies to you, works out for you,
and you can text Charise if you know any youth or you want to help with that at 817-405-9178.
And if you if you wanted to come help cook or
donate,
if you just have
or if you have a smoked turkey,
smoked turkey. Yes, no, any turkey, because I think at this point it looks like I'm going to need to do 2, and I already have 1. So but and then the day after Thanksgiving we have a video game tournament, Smash Brothers Is that the name of it? Smash Brothers. I know that's the name of it. Smash Brothers. I think there's another part to it, but if you play Smash Brothers, you know what I'm talking about. And it's at Dash here in Burleson, and that'll be
What's Dash?
it's a gaming lounge, and so
Never
my
heard of it.
son loves it. It's right across from the brewing company.
Okay.
In
It's
in Old Town
by Babes.
Yeah, so it's next, like, just down on the
Okay.
same side as Babes, but
Right,
down a little
okay.
bit. And so we'll be doing that. Sign-ups start at 2 and the tournament starts at 3, and we have really great prizes for that. So
Awesome.
there is an entry fee, but if you bring your own Switch setup, then we discount the entry fee by half. So
how much is the entry fee?
$10.
Okay.
So it'll only be
good.
5.
Yeah.
And then they can win memberships to Dash, and then we'll also have some cash that the first prize person can win.
Okay.
And then we're doing our gift card campaign, which I mentioned. So we would just love to receive gift cards, and those can be mailed to our PO box, which is on our website, or I can pick them up. And then I would just love to say, if you do year-end giving and you're looking for a place to send some money for a tax write-off, I would love to be considered. And if our mission's not a match for you, I would just encourage you to consider other agencies serving your local community, because I think that is
there
important.
different success stories and things on your website that people can maybe go read about, or do you have a Facebook?
We do have Facebook. I don't put a lot of our stories because I'm super because we are still a small community, and I'm
Right.
super worried about people I know that person.
Yeah.
But we do have some, the young woman I mentioned that's working, and we had just every time they get their driver's license or get a job, we've had some really great things.
Charise, I know we're out of time right now. I love talking with you, y'all. Check out our website. Follow on the Facebook. We've got the information on there. Go in and check it out. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
Breaking news this hour from